This is the perfect weather to trim my topiaries. Why is that? It's because this whole week it's going to remain in the 70s. That's the high of the week. So this is perfect topiary trimming weather, but I have to show you. Look at the alyssum that self-seeded itself under some of my topiaries. Meanwhile, look how shaggy some of them are. And people ask what type of boxwood I have purchased for this topiary garden. And it's a mix of green mountain and green velvet. And we do have some frost damage. We got a late frost. It warmed up and the plants thought it was time to grow, and some of the new growth got knocked back. But as you can see, I'll be trimming off some of those brown leaves as well. But look, that doesn't even look like a topiary with 3 spheres anymore. You can see it's totally outgrown its shape. And this might be the one that needs it the most. I don't even see a shape on that. But again, isn't the alyssum beautiful? This one doesn't look like a ball anymore. And we've got some more alyssum back here. And believe it or not, my pansies are still going strong. That self-seeded themselves here. And I believe these are violas in the back, also self-seeded. Lots of nice surprises in the topiary garden. I've got a few big ones over here. And look at this alyssum, guys. The topiary is all crazy, needs trimming, but look at this alyssum. And a shout out to Mr. Pleasant Prickles, who topiaried our huge burning bush. I think it's looking fantastic. It took a couple passes over it to get it really tamed, but I'm gonna come back out here and do my trimming after the shower stops. Let's get these topiaries trimmed up. This is a particularly shaggy one. And we're just gonna go in here, and once a topiary is established, it's pretty easy to keep it trimmed. You just trim until it's a shape that you're pleased with. In my case, this is gonna be a double ball. That's already been established. And I'm going to be moving all around the topiary and examining it. And the important thing to know about this is that you should not be intimidated by it, because much like a bad haircut, if you make a mistake, it will grow back, and especially in the spring, it'll grow back pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead, and here's a big branch coming off the side. I think I'm going to remove that. So you just make your decisions as you go. And it's really easy. I'm not even putting down a tarp or anything. You can use a leaf blower in the end just to tidy up the trimmings. But right away, this ball is already looking better. I also don't use any special topiary tools. I just use regular old scissors, and guess what, guys, it works just fine. Doesn't this look much better? And eventually some of this winter burn will go away. I can get in there if I want to be fastidious and really trim some of the worst of it off. But I think we're done with this ball. Now I could go to the other side and see a few more little areas that need snipping, but that is no problem at all. Fast and easy. It's a lot harder to start a topiary than it is just to come through and trim it. So, you know, just snip at it until you like how it looks. And trimming it will also stimulate new growth. So you can take it back pretty far and you'll get some nice fresh green growth at this time of year in the spring. Okay, I've taken a step back and I think I like the shape on that one. Remember, you can come back at any time and snip a branch here or there. And the other thing I like to do is kind of comb through it with my fingers just to get out any of the leaves I've cut off. That way they don't turn brown and look unsightly. But this is going to be a happy plant. And I decided to leave this little branch to see what happens. It's hard to see next to the green, but there's a little branch here, and maybe I can make a little ball in between. We'll see how it develops, but some of my topiaries have some very long stems in there, and I think it would really look nice with a third ball. So we'll see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on it. And it's time to move on to the next shaggy topiary. Now don't be afraid to take it really far back. This is how you get a thick ball, and this time of year it's gonna grow back within 2 weeks, much thicker and neater. But you can really take these back quite far and they will look terrific. This one's easy, it's just a straight ball. And when you're trimming, it's also a good time to make some design decisions. You can decide what to leave and what to trim. And if it doesn't work out the way you planned, you can always come back and trim it up. As you can see, I was quite heavy-handed with this one, and I'm choosing which ones to be heavy-handed with, mostly based on the frost damage. But look at how neat and tidy that looks. It's reduced probably by a third, but it will spring back just fine. Don't be afraid to give them a hard prune, because that is what actually makes them thick and lush. Springtime is also the time to make some design decisions where you decide what to leave and what to trim. Now this topiary is quite bare in the middle, and I'm seeing a couple of new sprigs on the back side of it and also on the side there. And I think I'm gonna leave them and see how they fill in. I can always trim them off later if they don't do what I expect, but I have a feeling if I'm patient enough, I might be able to fill in a third ball there in a couple of years. So topiary does take some time to get the desired effect, but it's worth it and it's so much fun. Here's one of those design decisions you can make while doing your trimming. This was originally 3 separate boxwood plants that I would trim into sphere shapes, so they'd be 3 balls lined up. But they've grown together so much, I think it might be nice to start training them into a rectangular hedge. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make straight cuts along the sides. And it won't be perfect yet. Remember, sometimes topiary shapes take patience, but I think we're pretty darn close here. And I'm just gonna cut along the sides in a straight cut here, and down the side here, just another straight cut. And once I do the sides, I'll go across the top with just another straight trim, like this. I'm gonna go quite far back because I want it to really thicken up. This middle one is the thickest, I think, but this is good because I'm gonna get rid of quite a bit of winter burn. I don't know what kind of boxwood this is, but this one did have some frost damage, a little more than the others. And hopefully, if my camera isn't too far, you're gonna start seeing a rectangle shape showing up. I'm gonna have a little hedge here. It'll be something a little bit different. As you can see, I'm just trying to take out some of the trimmings here. Now this isn't perfect yet, but I think it will be after a couple of trims. And I can't tell you how often I do this. It really depends on how fast things are growing and the weather. Certainly in the droughty summers, they don't do much growing, and they don't grow much during the winter. So it's really spring and fall that these plants like to grow when the conditions are right. But right away I can see this is shaping up, and I've been able to remove a lot of that top winter burn. I find this very therapeutic and relaxing. So I think we're done on this one for now. And I have started this on the pathway to being a small hedge. A topiary hedge right here in my topiary garden. As I've been going along here, I've realized that pulling out some of the winter brown with my hands is actually easier than going in and trimming it. But I'm not going to worry too much about every single bit because new leaves are going to grow up and around that winter damage and kind of bury the brown. It's going to be just fine. I realized the camera angle was blocked by the plants in front of it, so I came around to the other side to show you the shape I'm going for. So it's going to take maybe one season for it to even out, and there's still a little gap, particularly over here, but in no time this is going to be an adorable little boxwood hedge in this planter, and I think it's going to be really nice mixed in with all of my topiaries. I'm going to take this one back quite far because there's a lot of winter damage on the top here. So I start at the top and I kind of work around, curving it down. And in no time, this is going to have a really nice shape. It's going to grow back dense. I will check it from all sides, but that is just a quick little trim. And all of this brown damage will be soon covered by some brand new leaves, because what we're doing here stimulates some new growth. Every time you trim, you're going to have some new growth come in. Let's take a look at it from over this side. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Missed a couple on this side. That's why it's important to look at it from every angle. And although it looks a little bit rough right now, it's going to be a beautiful topiary in 2 weeks. Now this wasn't my favorite when I first got it. I was looking for boxwoods that only had one strong central stem. But I had this one and I cut it back to these 2 stems with 1 ball on top. And I just love it. It might be my favorite topiary. So interesting that it has the 2 stems. So I'm going to get busy trimming this back. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. Looking all neat and tidy now. I'm really pleased with that shape. This project would go a lot faster if I didn't have to keep stopping for rain showers. These big ones are really thick. They're easy to do and they shape up really nicely. Some of the younger topiaries have questionable shapes, but these are the really ones that you can get looking nearly perfect in my opinion. And you can see how thick they've gotten. And that is a result from all of the trimming it's gotten over the past few years. Oh, and I trimmed these little cuties out on my front doorstep. And there we have it. The topiary garden is all neat and tidy. Everything has been trimmed up. I'm really pleased we had this weather opportunity to take care of the main trimming. And we'll see how some of my design decisions pan out over the season. But I think everything is looking very neat and tidy. And remember, if you miss something, you can always come back and trim 1 or 2 things any time of the year. And I'm just pleased. None of these were purchased as topiaries. They were purchased as shrubs. And many of them, for example, these 2 were just cuttings that I took. And they rooted, and now I've shaped them into little topiary balls. So guys, it's totally possible to make your own topiaries and enjoy the process, especially if you don't fuss too much about it or stress out about what you're cutting. You can always come back and make changes and let the process evolve. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.